Welcome everyone. So tonight's practice will be a tension releasing restorative practice. So some items that you may want to have. A mat is optional as always. Bolsters, I have a couple here which you could also simulate with blankets, pillows, towels, anything like that. Just something to give a little height. Maybe a couple blocks, and a strap or a belt would be helpful. So tonight we'll start on our back. So go ahead and lie all the way down on your back. And once you're on your back, you can stretch your arms up and overhead. And just start by some gentle windshield wiper type movements. And then your arms, you could bring them out to a cactus. They could stay overhead or T, kind of position of comfort. But let yourself explore some gentle twisting type movements. So I'm just kind of rotating and stretching one leg over and then doing that with the other side. And then you can pause and do a few circles with the knees to massage the lower back and the hip area. And then pause here. So bring your feet down to your mat. Bring one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart center, and close the eyes. And with the eyes closed, just invite breath into your hands. Just experience your breath, entering and filling the spaces of the belly and the heart center. And allow the exhale to start to wash out any tensions that it can. Take 2 more breaths here. You can release the hands from the belly and the heart center. Start to open the eyes, maybe move the wrists, the fingers. Bring one knee up toward your chest. You can clasp the hands around the shin or behind the thigh. Other leg, foot could stay on the floor, or you could stretch it out. So bring the knee in toward the chest and pause. And then with an inhale, lift your heart and your head toward your knee. And come down. Release the knee away from the body and then draw it back in again for Pavana Muktasana. Inhale can lift heart and head, and this time maybe reach up and grab the bottom of the foot and then lie back down. So you're in kind of a half a squatting position on your back. Inhale to lift up. And now start to stretch the leg up. Maybe walk the hands down the leg. Just give yourself a little bit of a wake up massage. If it feels like too much of a reach to reach for the lower leg, you can explore with the knee bent. And then do some kind of side to side movements. And let's switch. So other leg can come up and you can clasp in position of comfort for you. And then with an inhale, you can lift heart and head toward the knee. And come back down, release it away. Repeat, draw it back in. And this time, when you lift up, maybe reach for the bottom of the foot and lower yourself back down. Lift again, and this time explore playing with straightening the leg and maybe giving yourself just a little bit of a release, little massaging movements in the leg. And you can do some side to side. And you can stretch this leg out. Take your arms overhead. So really reach from your fingertips to your toes, and your toes could point up toward the ceiling or they could point toward the opposite wall. But think of making a big C stretch with your whole body. So let the arms initiate this. So let them start to reach over to one side. Your legs could stay stable, or you could add them into it and let them also reach over. And then come to center and explore your other side. Come all the way back up to center. Bend your knees. And then with the knees bent, kind of press your feet into the floor and give yourself a few stabilizing pelvic tilts. So in these tilts, the pelvis stays down the whole time. So arms can be where they are helpful for you, but press the pubic bone toward the floor so that you have space in the lower back. And then reverse. So press the small of the back into the floor, kind of tilt the tail upward, but still keeping glutes on the floor. And repeat this a couple more times. Nice. And then after you've done that, you can do some side to side movements. So roll yourself over to one side and then press yourself up. And this is just to set up some props. So we'll do a supported bridge pose and a supported fish. And you'll have to play with your props to see which version feels right for you. So in both, you may find that your series of props feel better if they're in more of a vertical positioning, or you might find that they're better more horizontal. And the height is going to look different for all of our bodies. So you'll have to explore a little bit. If it doesn't feel wonderful as you first set it up, then adjust so that you can find something that feels better for you. So again, this could be with any type of block or book or any type of cushiony type thing. So first one, you'll bring your hips up to your series of props. And this would be a supported bridge. So I have mine kind of on the lowest position here. And you could first pause and see if this feels great. For me, it's not feeling fabulous yet. So I'm going to bring just a little bit more lift. And then you want to find a spot where your chin can be away from the chest. So your arms are kind of hugging in, your shoulder blades are drawing in a little bit. And you may find that feet on the floor feels good. Or you might be able to explore kind of stretching out one leg or the other. Or you might want to play with kind of bringing the bottoms of the feet together, bringing yourself into a Supta Baddha Konasana or a reclined cobbler's pose. We'll be here for a few breaths, so in that time, you may find that you're in a spot that you can just pause and breathe. Or your body might crave moving a little bit more, and you can explore any type of movements around the pelvis, the legs. So find a spot first here in supported bridge where the hips are supported. And you can bring some type of release to the upper back and allow the neck to be long. So I'm sure you were exploring as I was showing those. I'm going to continue to show you some other options without talking while you are finding the right combination for your body. So take another breath or two. You can bring out your series of props and give your body a little movements that might feel nice. I'll do one more supported back bend. So this one is a supported fish, similar to what we did, but instead of the pelvis being the primary support on your props, it's more about the upper body. And so in this one, you're finding position of comfort again, but now pelvis will be on the floor. And so you may find that just lying over your series of more of a softer series of props will feel good. And this one, I'm going to keep my head supported. And your arms could reach overhead or out to the side. You may also find, if you have kind of a series of both styles of props, I find that sometimes just a gentle weight on my palms can really help to release tension in my chest and in my upper body. So you could explore what I'm showing now. I'll also demonstrate one with blocks, but you're using whatever combination of supports that feel good for you. And you can turn your supports in a more vertical stance or horizontal or anything that feels good for you. You find a spot that feels good. Invite your breath back to the belly, back to the heart, and experience it. Take a couple more breaths in your supported Matsyasana or simple fish. And this time you can gently take yourself off your supports and grab a strap or a belt. So once you're lying back down, have your strap just handy, but bring both knees up toward the chest. And you can rock from side to side. And then with kind of the arms hooking behind the knees, start to draw your knees up close toward your torso. And maybe kind of footprints on the ceiling type position. So you could pause here and hold. You could also support the calves or the ankles, or grab the bottoms of the feet for Ananda Balasana or Happy Baby pose. And you may find just pausing here feels good. Your body might crave some gentle rocking movements. But draw your breath into the base of the spine and kind of visualize your lower spine lengthening. So let the bottoms of the feet come in and let your knees kind of point out to the side, and you can support legs, ankles, or feet. And then release your left leg out to the end of the mat. And now hold on to your right leg. You're going to kind of cradle one hand on the foot, one hand on the knee, and make some side to side movements. These can be small or big. If this feels like it's way too much of a reach to hold on to the foot, a strap might be handy here. You can go from side to side. And then pause as you start to stretch the leg across the body. And you may find the knee needs to stay bent. You may find you can straighten your opposite arm. You may want to reach out to T, opposite of the one that's holding on. So you're not quite into a spinal twist. I'm letting this side of the pelvis lift as the leg starts to reach, but it's fairly gentle. And then come back. So think of this as being kind of like a Happy Baby pose. And maybe you're straightening the leg. Maybe it's staying bent. Maybe you're doing a little bit of both, with or without a strap. And then come back to center. Hold on with the strap and bring it about to the ball of the foot. And if the strap is uncomfortable or the belt, you can always hold on to the foot with the hands. And start to press your heel up toward the ceiling so the toes are pointing toward your body in some way. And if it's too intense to straighten the leg, explore bringing some dynamic bending and straightening. But at some point, visit holding and straightening. So the heel is really pointing up. Now slide the strap down to the heel and feel like the tips of your toes are trying to lift the roof. Now bring the strap back near the ball of the foot. Pull a little bit more in the inside hand and let the outside hand kind of soften so that the outer edge of the foot can feel like it's trying to lift the roof. Spread the toes also while you're doing this if you can. And now one more edge. Give a little tug on the outer strap, soften with the inside, and reach up through the arch of the foot. And now bring your foot back to whichever one of those 4 positions that you felt like you needed another breath to soak in. On an inhale, lift your heart toward the thigh, thigh toward the heart. Lower yourself back down. release the strap, release this leg, and come up to the other side. So let's start with the cradling movement. So you may find kind of strapping the foot. So you're holding on with the opposite hand of the foot. Other hand is kind of holding to cradle. You can bring some side to side movements in. And then at some point kind of press the leg over. So you're finding a little bit of a twisting action. Maybe straightening the leg, maybe not. And then unwind. Same hand, same leg. Start with kind of that a happy baby movement. And maybe straighten the leg if that's available. And bend, bring the knee back in. Strap can be at about the ball of the foot. Start to straighten the leg and point the toes toward your torso or your head. So it's like the heel is trying to lift the roof. Toes can be spreading. Again, you always have those options of bending and straightening if you're getting a lot of resistance on the back side of the leg. Now slide your strap down to the heel, point. So play with a combination of pointing with the tips of the toes while also trying to separate them, which can be a little intense. And now bring the strap back near the ball of the foot. A little bit more of a tug on the inside hand. Soften the outside. So the outside of the foot is going to be trying to lift the roof. And then switch. Arch of the foot's trying to lift. Outside edge is kind of pulling down. Come back to the one that this foot needed more of. Might not be the same as the first side. And then with an inhale, lift heart and thigh toward each other. Lower all the way back down. Lower the leg. Hold on to the strap with the arms, maybe a little bit wider than shoulder width. And then take the arms overhead. So feel like you're lifting the strap away from you. And then just let go of it. So bring your knees up toward your chest. Circle once more each side. And draw your arms to either cactus or a T position. And give yourself just a nice twist on each side. So maybe on the exhale, knees are going to one side. Gaze is going to the other. And here I'm at kind of a fairly big angle. If you find you want to find a deeper twist, then shift your hips away from the direction of your knees, so that as your knees go over, you're finding more of a line that you could connect the dots, so that the pelvis is rotating fully away from the shoulders. So you can find the right equation for your body. You can also play with outstretching the top leg. There's lots of ways to explore rotation. After you've played with one side, do it on the other side. And just kind of see, what do you need? What is this side craving? Which approach is best for you in this moment? You can come back to center. Bring the bottoms of the feet together. Lower the outer edges of the feet to the mat. Take your arms overhead, and this time maybe explore grabbing elbows or forearms and kind of lifting them away in your reclined cobbler's pose. gaze in. Do some kind of angled movements. Arms can be where you'd like. So I'm kind of angling my knees toward the corners of the end of the mat, or in that direction. Maybe you want to circle or draw the knees back one more time, but stretch the legs out to the end of the mat. You may want to cover yourself with a blanket. You could also use any of your supports that you had for Shavasana or corpse pose. You're going to release the arms by your side. Legs can just be out. You can wave your feet from side to side or wiggle the arms. Your head can gently go from side to side. And with the eyes closed, consciously soften the muscles in your forehead, around your eyes, your mouth, your throat. Invite that relaxation to continue throughout your being with each breath you take in Shavasana, or the corpse pose. into your fingers and toes. Stretch your arms overhead. Lengthen your body through your breath. And some little movements to wrists and ankles. And then with fingertips, just kind of lightly go through, pressing into the scalp, the base of the skull, the hairline, forehead and eyebrows, a bit around the eyes, down along the jawline, underneath the jaw, into your cheeks, above your lip, upper lip, around the nose, down underneath the bottom lip, and go underneath the jaw, and just some gentle kind of release through the throat, collarbones. Arms can stretch back overhead. You can start to open eyes if you want to. Bend the knees. Roll yourself onto your side, making a pillow with the arm. And then press yourself upright to a seated position. Once you're sitting up nice and tall, take the arms out and overhead. Take your left hand, kind of grab just underneath the ear, behind the ear. Press your right arm down, and then create a little bit of a lift. It's an arc up and over toward your left side. Use your hand to cradle the skull. Tilt your head so the chin is facing toward the armpit. And then cradling the back of the skull, tilt your head again, but this time kind of back of the head is facing toward the shoulder. Maybe chin and nose are facing a little toward the ceiling. Tilt back toward the front, resting the ear toward the shoulder, and now slide this hand just above the opposite ear of where you started. Lift yourself up to center, stretch this arm up, let the other come up and join. And then same thing for the other side. So start to release the opposite ear as you're creating a little bit of an arc up and over. This hand can kind of cup behind the skull, tilt. Chin can face toward the armpit. And then cradling the skull, tilt the other way. Chin and nose can start to face up. Tilt back over to the side, maybe giving just a little bit of a tug to create length. And bring this hand just above the ear, press up to center. Stretch both arms up and overhead again. Bring your palms together, lower them to your heart. Take a deep breath of gratitude into the heart for one thing in your life today. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing. Rest well.